for all coming to celebrate our beloved friend and relative Jinx. A great father and a wise advisor to his kids, Christy and Graham, and a loving, devoted husband to Selena. I always say that you can always tell how good you are as parents from how the kids turned out. And you just have to look at how well Christy and Graham turned out to know the fabulous parenting that Selena and Jinx provided. I hired Graham to do some landscaping around my office on Kingsway. He was reliable, trustworthy, and always got the job done. Everybody in my staff always had great things to say about him. On one occasion, we had to pressure wash the building, and so I asked Graham if he would help me, and he said yes. But I had to explain to him that he would be using this scissor lift to get to the high part of the building. Graham never used the machine before, but I liked his attitude as he was gung-ho and had no fear on doing it. He actually had fun driving the machine around the building and being 20 feet up in the air. Jinx always talked proudly of both Christy and Graham, their choices in their lives. Christy and Ryan being in Roslyn and Trail, BC, and Graham and Isa being in Australia. Now, I'm not sure if this was his legal name. Was Jenkins his English? Anglicized, okay. 'Cause on his, I think on his real estate license it says Jankin Lim.
Yes, yes.
But his
Better than Jinx.
yeah, well, we all called him Jinx.
That's for real estate.
That's right. It's funny that his name means a person with bad fortune, or if you got jinxed, you had bad luck. But that's the opposite of what Jinx brought to us. If you had the opportunity to have Jinx in your life, you would have a great fortune. Talk about good fortune. Do you know what Halle Berry and he had in common? Their name was Jinx. Good for you. I met Jinx and our buddy Wayne Cole around tennis courts at Pandora Park in the late 70s. And there was a great number of us that would meet there every weekend. We got Jeff and Kia. There's a bunch of us that would, there's probably, I don't know, 12, 16 of us. A couple Barry, there's John G. and Ron Greening and a whole bunch of us. It was just a weekend to get together, and we were all young and unmarried at the time. And one of the guys was Gordy Chow. And he and I thought of having this tennis tournament, which Gord thought he was going to win. That's why he put it on. And we went out and bought some trophies, right, for the women and the men. And that was in 1979. We called it the Vancouver Chinese Invitational Tennis Tournament. But there was one white guy. That was Ron Greening, right? After this long day of knockout games, in the men's division, it came down to Jinx and I. I thought I had him beat because I was more nimble and quick. I didn't play much against him, so I didn't know that he had one wicked, powerful topspin cross court. And eventually he beat me. I still have my runner-up cup by my door where I put all my loose change. And it always reminds me who the champ was. I got into real estate in 1979, and in 1980 I asked Jinx, who had a solid salary from being a postie, if he'd like to get together and invest in real estate. He recommended we meet with Wayne Cole, who was a carpenter, Jim Maw, who was an architect. We all threw in $2,500 each to have a $10,000 down payment. We established the name Cyma Development Corp., which Jim came up with. Cyma is C-Y-M-A, and it's an architectural term for a cornice molding. We had to make it official, so we all dressed up in suits and take company pictures in the boardroom that Jim provided for us. And you'll see the photo of the Fab Four on the display. We were all supposed to have a serious look, but Jinx couldn't help himself. Our first investments, I found a house on Charles Street, just west of Commercial, and within 3 or 4 months, we bought this place for $57,000. We sold it for $97,000 with our $10,000. And after 3 or 4 more transactions in the 1980s, when everything was booming, we turned that $2,500 into $12,500, and that was a 500% return in 1 year. We got out of the market when the market dropped in '81, but I was able to buy my first house in Coquitlam, and I think with his profits he saved and later bought with Selena. They bought their home at Elliott, and was it 48th or 47th? 52nd. He retired from being a postie and became a realtor, and he first started with my office at A.E. LePage, and it was a dead market during the 82 to 89. What year did he get into real estate? 82. That was a tough year. That's when we did our painting, because I painted all through college, so I was able to help teach Jinx how to paint. And we did the odd project, and I remember in 1983, in the March of 1983, and I go by the house every so often on 9th Street at 9th and 38th, and that was the house that we painted together, and that helped me pay for my mortgage for that month. So we went through some pretty tough times through the 80s when mortgage rates were, they came down from 19% down to 15%. Now we're complaining about 6% mortgages. He carried on painting full time as he enjoyed it so much and made his business name JJ Painting. He always called me Mr. T from the TV series The A-Team, and I called him JJ from the TV series Good Times. Word got around fast, and many of us hired and referred customers to Jinx. He always had a job waiting for him. In the last 7 years, we had the chance of painting together on renos that I or Wayne were involved in. We never considered it work, though. It was just another chance to hang out together, have some laughs, and make some money. We would always have the radio on and playing that game, and name that tune. And he was quite the music buff, yes, especially for the old R&Bs. He was my soul man. The last time I saw Jinx was at Home Depot the Thursday before he passed. He was wearing his toque, his hairy face, and his big smile. He was sitting on a stool talking to one of his friends who was a cashier. And I said, JJ! He said, Mr. T! I left happy and comforted to see that he was recovering, looking happy and healthy. I could talk for hours on stories about Jinx, but I'll leave you with this. Jinx always came with a smile. And always left you with a smile. And you know him, he's saying right now, that's right. That's our Jinx, and that's my JJ. Thank you.